Hi there, this is Monique Bradley and welcome to 5 Minutes with hypnotherapist Rebecca Armstrong. Hi Bex, how are you doing?
Good, Monique.
Good. Well, Rebecca and I have had a great friendship for the last couple of years and she's helped me shift some self-limiting beliefs through the power of hypnotherapy. So Rebecca, first and foremost, can you tell me, how does hypno really work? And I call it hypno because I feel very cool with it. How does it work?
So there is a huge difference between hypnosis, what you think you see on the stage TV show hypnotist, stage hypnotist for entertainment, and what we call hypnotherapy, which is actually using hypnosis as a real powerful ally to make therapeutic changes, whether that be help you have a really calm and natural childbirth to overcome a limiting belief like what you were talking about.
Oh, great. So when you do your sessions, obviously you get people asking, will you turn them into, make them cluck like a chicken or make them dance like Elvis? That's not your game, right?
No, there is no reason to cluck like a chicken.
Absolutely.
Or dance like Elvis. No, entertainment's not part of it. It's basically using the unconscious mind, accessing the unconscious mind. So hypnosis is actually a state of brainwaves where your brainwaves slow down to alpha and theta. In that state, we can access our unconscious mind. Now, the importance of that is neuroscience tells us that 90% of our brain activity goes on outside our conscious awareness.
Wow.
So our unconscious houses our beliefs, our habits, our emotions, our phobias, and also our autonomic processes like our breathing and our heart rate, which of course we can consciously influence, but we can't control 24/7.
Gotcha. Now, alpha and theta brainwaves, that's the brainwaves we experience during REM sleep, is that right?
When you go to sleep at night, you our waking general state is beta, so right now. When you relax a little bit, you go into alpha and theta. They're the same states you go into when you go to sleep at night. You get the slow wave sleep. REM sleep's a little bit different, but it is part of those brainwaves.
Wow. What about the brainwave functioning of children? Is that alpha theta?
Pretty much children up to the age of somewhere between 7 and 11 do spend a lot of their time in alpha and theta, which is why they're really imaginative, really creative. They're in that right brain a lot of times, which is also why a lot of children take on board what we say as fact. So even when a teacher kind of jokes or an uncle jokes, oh, you're so silly, a child can actually take that on as a limiting belief and won't even realise at the time they have, because they don't have the conscious critical capacity to develop and evaluate that thought.
That makes so much sense. I've done so much work with children and I see that happening all the time, and then seeing those children grow up and they've got these really unusual beliefs about themselves and where they fit into the world. Imagine if we just gave lots of positive messaging to children. Wouldn't that be amazing? We'd grow great adults.
You can only build a child's self-esteem up so they can cope with that, because you can't control what other kids are going to say at school. And you can't actually control the perception a child will have of something very, very innocent.
Amazing, amazing. So in your journey, you were introduced to hypnotherapy, is that right?
I was, yes. So in my own personal health journey, I was quite sick, so I went to see a hypnotherapist because I heard that it was great for pain management and healing and recovery. I really liked it, and the proof was actually really in the pudding when I was going across to Australia to visit a girlfriend of mine. And I happened to say at the end of one session, like, I can't wait, but every time I see a twig, I'm going to jump and think it's a snake because, those things just give me the creeps.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I've since had a snake wrapped around my neck, and obviously I've still got a healthy respect and the natural fear response if I saw one out in the wild, but I don't jump when I see a twig, and I can remain relatively relaxed and calm when I'm in a setting where, it's at a controlled setting where they're going to put one around your neck for a photo. So for me, if hypnotherapy can do that, my mother thought the photo was Photoshop because she couldn't believe that I'd actually have a snake around my neck.
That's just incredible. I'm blown away. Now, I have seen that picture, and now knowing that story, I'm just blown away. Hopefully we'll be able to get Bex to share that image as well. So tell me, in the work that you're doing with your clients, what sort of benefits does hypnotherapy provide for people, for your clients?
Well, basically, because hypnosis accesses your unconscious mind, it can benefit anything from your beliefs, your emotions. So if you've got a real emotional intensity, someone that you triggers something in you each time you see them, whether it be anger and stuff like that, we can work with the emotional encoding around that. Same with phobias, the trigger of anxiety around that, right through to influencing your physiology. So that comes a lot into play with childbirth and fertility.
Of course.
But also gestational diabetes and pregnancy. Just learning the hypnotic relaxation lowers your blood glucose levels and your blood pressure and your cortisol, so stress. Basically anything that the body does unconsciously, so your bodily processes or your memories and your beliefs.
Well, so that part of your mind can really influence your physiological wellness as well. Is that what you're saying?
You can enhance your body's healing mechanisms when you go into the hypnotic state, because you're basically going into alpha and theta. You're bringing your body back into homeostasis. So a lot of times we're operating from our sympathetic nervous system. You might have heard of the fight or flight.
Yeah, I sure have.
Yeah, we're not taking time to purposely bring our bodies back into homeostasis to balance, which is activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is what hypnosis does. So when you do that, you're diverting your body's energies to relaxation, to calming, to rest, to balance. So of course, it's the same as when you go into deep sleep at night when you're getting the healing sleep. That is the same benefit you're getting from going into hypnosis.
That is unbelievable. I could hear the hypno voice coming through. Then I was instantly starting to think, I just want to lie down a little bit. I can drift off to sleep.
Feel nice and relaxed.
I do. I love your hypno voice. So moving on from that, when you're talking about the effects that the brain and our mind has on our healing, you've got a pretty cool success story around healing with one of your clients, a very special client, in fact.
A very special client, in fact. While I was still training, my mother had to go in to have surgery to have her jaw rebroken and reset, along with taking a bone graft off the hip to put in. I mean, there was 5 specialists involved. I can only remember the maxillofacial surgeon and the periodontist because the rest of them have really long and complicated names. So I wanted to practice using hypnosis to help enhance the body's healing mechanisms, to help her feel more calm and relaxed about surgery. And she's pretty good about the mind influencing the body, so she wasn't so concerned about that. But what was amazing is she went up for a follow-up 3 weeks later, and the maxillofacial surgeon said to her, "That's pretty good for 5 weeks." And when she said to her it's 3 weeks, he was like, "Hold on a second."
Wow.
Raced out of the room, brought one of his colleagues in to have a look, because the rate of healing was much more phenomenal than what you'd expect for 3 weeks. And that's why I was still training. So to be able to help my own mum with something so huge was just fantastic.
Mind-blowing. It's incredible. So you don't just work with clients who are looking for healing. Who are you helping?
I'm helping a lot. I work a lot with childbirth, so helping women who are pregnant, who want to have a more relaxed birth, or have had a really unpleasant first experience with childbirth and they just want to change the memory encoding around that, or they've got a breech baby and they want the baby to turn in time and they don't want to have the ECV because that's quite a manipulative process and not very pleasant. People who are trying to get pregnant.
Actually, I have a great question for you around that subject.
Yeah.
So a couple of days ago, I posted out and said, if you've got a question for me to ask Rebecca Armstrong, hypnotherapist, please message me. And I've had a couple of questions come in, which I thought I'd ask you right now. So the first one here is a woman called Anna, and she's sent this question to me from Christchurch. And she said, my husband and I are trying to get pregnant. So she said, I'm having trouble with my fertility right now. On paper, everything is perfect. Could it be my mind getting in the way? What are your thoughts on that?
So Anna, definitely. Our mind influences so much. Actually, just the process of trying to conceive a baby can become quite stressful. As we mentioned before, the whole stress response. When you go into the fight or flight, you actually suppress your immune system and your digestive system and your reproductive system, because thinking back to when it was for our survival, you didn't need those systems in a time of running away from the lion, say, to actually be involved, so they get suppressed. So yes, stress can get in the way. Unconscious blocks and beliefs, like limiting beliefs. For example, I've worked with clients with fertility issues where they've held on to and not realised, held on to either unresolved guilt over having an abortion when they're younger and feel like they don't deserve another chance, or they've still got unresolved grief around a miscarriage that they've had that they haven't been able to process. So the unconscious mind's actually doing its best to protect them from going through that again, when actually conscious of what they really want is a baby.
Wow, I did not know that. I've learned something new today. Thank you so much. And Anna, I hope that helps. Thank you for your question. I have another question for you, and this is from Karen. She's based here in Auckland, and she said, I have a fear of driving. Can hypnosis help me with that?
Most definitely. Karen, phobias are actually really, really, really easy to work with in hypnosis. So phobias are basically a survival mechanism gone wrong. We learn to associate something with a heightened state of anxiety and fear. So that can actually be unlearned, and hypnosis is a really gentle procedure to do that with. I've recently worked with a client who had a really, really big phobia of dogs, to the point that she's in her late 20s and has never, ever touched a dog before. She couldn't even go walking on Eurolocal, so Takapuna Beach, without a lot of fear and anxiety. Since working together, I have seen photos of her holding dogs. She's patted dogs for the first time, and it's just literally changing the wiring in her brain to learn that actually she is okay and they are safe. Obviously, with some animals, you know, you do keep the natural survival mechanisms in place. You don't, you know, with poisonous animals or even dogs, you know, you still need a level of caution when appropriate. But phobias are an excessive or inappropriate fear to something.
Well done. So Karen, if you want to get in touch, how can she find you?
Well, obviously she can find me through Facebook, so facebook.com/shinehypnosis, my website www.shinehypnosis.co.nz, or you can
contact me and I'll connect you. So in my experience of having sessions with Rebecca, I was amazed at how the sessions were relaxing. Number one, they're probably the best sleep I think I've ever had. But secondly, the effect, I explain it as like when you drop a pebble in water, or in a pond of water, a pool or something like that, and you get all these ripples. The ripple effect of changing your beliefs is unbelievable. So in my instance, it was really about shifting a self-limiting belief that was really holding me back in my business. And now, to be honest, my business is off the radar, and I'm living the life I love the most, and have had the greatest happiness and the greatest success I think I've had in my whole 25 years of being a businesswoman. So part of that I definitely owe to you. Part of that I have to say that success has come from the work I've done with you. So thanks, Bex. And if you'd like to experience more joy, more happiness, if you want to kick those self-limiting beliefs in the butt, if you want to get rid of your phobias and fears, and even help yourself get pregnant, you need to talk to Bex. Bex, thanks for coming into the studio.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And we look forward to sharing more interviews with amazing and extraordinary people real soon. Thanks, Bex. I'm Monique Bradley. See you soon.